Hey everybody, it's Kellen Nitro for Nitromaniac TV's wrestling channel, and this is my take on New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom 13 card on January 4th, 2019. It is the big first super card of the year that anybody puts out, and it was an enjoyable show from top to bottom. Normally I'd be joined for this recap with my co-contributor to the site, Morehouse. However, something has come up on his end. He won't be joining us today in this recap, so you just got me. That's alright. And Tano too. You hear him in the background. So instead of the New Japan Rumble, where they took everybody who wasn't in matches in Wrestle Kingdom this year and put them in like a Royal Rumble style match, where there was one winner, they decided to have a gauntlet match for a number one contendership for the never openweight 6-man title that was won by Togi Makabe, Taguchi, and Toru Yano. This was kind of an unlikely winner, I felt, off of this. I thought for sure the Suzuki-gun trio of Minoru Suzuki, Harry Smith, and Lance Archer would get the win there, but it was all building up to New Year's Dash the night after, where Takahashi and Chase Owens would defect back to the Bullet Club, even though they were still part of the Bullet Club. It was kind of really, I guess they did a really good job of murkying and muddying the waters the last 6 months of 2018, because you didn't know where those two guys stood in the whole Elite Bullet Club split. But they all came back into the fold during the never openweight 6-man match, where of course the champions were Taiji Yoshimori and the Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tanga Loa. That is kind of an interesting catalyst, because you can kind of tell with the Elite leaving and Kenny Omega going to wherever Kenny's going, and all the changes happening right now in New Japan, that the Bullet Club will still have that core of foreign talent that is kind of the catalyst for Bullet Club going forward. The really big issue going forward is how proven these guys are, because now we've gone from guys like AJ Styles to maybe Kenny Omega, who's on the same level, to now you got Jay White and Chase Owens. Time remains to be seen, but you know, they're getting them at a good spot of their career, so they can build them up. Opening match of the main card, and my pick for match of the night, was Kota Ibushi versus Will Ospreay for the never openweight championship. Ospreay walking out with the belt in this one, so his quest for the never openweight title is fulfilled at Wrestle Kingdom. We've seen kind of a new Will Ospreay, kind of a no holds barred brawling type Will Ospreay, and he unleashed what could be a real devastating setup move, or a finisher, I guess, during this match, which was just an elbow to the back of Ibushi's neck. It was almost like a shotgun elbow from the ropes, in which Ibushi had to get hauled off on a stretcher to the back. Man, are they teasing a heel turn with Ospreay? Is he going to be kind of a little bit of a tweener in 2019? We'll wait and see with that, but I liked it. This was my favorite match of the entire card. I thought it was match of the night, in my opinion. It might be a sleeper match of the year contender, depending on what happens in the next 11 months or so, but I really enjoyed this one. This one was alright. The IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Championships were on the line. Next is the champions from Suzuki-gun, El Desperado, and Kanemaru put the belts on against the LIJ tandem of Bushi and Takagi, and Roppongi 3K, which was Sho and Yo with Rocky Romero. Bushi and Takagi walked out with the belts. This was another title change, so keep track. There were 2 title changes up to this point in the show, and in total 8 out of 8 on the entire card. So New Japan completely shuffling the deck, like I said, trying to rid themselves of the outgoing talent to wherever they're going. All Elite Wrestling, WWE in some cases, maybe, kind of, sort of, we'll see, or elsewhere, and putting the belts on new or familiar faces and getting fresh contenders. That was the whole theme of this show. The RPW British Heavyweight title was on the line. The champion Tomohiro Ishii took on Zack Sabre Jr. Again, another title change here. Zack Sabre Jr. walks out, the RPW British Heavyweight champion. And I think they are building up for something for that London card in August this year, where we might have Will Ospreay versus Zack Sabre Jr. Perhaps maybe for that British Heavyweight title. as a main event. That's the two biggest stars right now in Britain next to Marty Scurll. So maybe Marty works his way in there as well. I would not be surprised if we see that going forward. That'll take a few months to build up and build it up right. But if they do it right, it can be a fairly epic match and maybe a match of the year contender. So if that's the route they're planning, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be interesting to see. And this match itself was awesome. So if you have a chance to watch it, watch it. Our second freeway tag team match for titles on this card was for the IWGP Tag Team Championship. You had the champions, the Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, put the belts on the line against the LIJ tandem. Again, Evil and Sonata, and then the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, in what could be rumored to be their last New Japan Pro Wrestling appearance before AEW kicks off and starts running and rocking and rolling down in Jacksonville there. This match itself, fairly quick. I thought it was a little bit of a quicker paced match than even the junior freeway itself. But Evil and Sonata walked out with the belts. Again, they're kind of establishing LIJ as kind of this lead faction now, but it's going to be like the lead face faction. It's almost as if they've replaced Chaos as like the lead face faction now in New Japan, with all the belts and that stuff and all the crowd favorite title holders. While they try to reestablish Bullet Club as like the lead heel faction, for the wars for next year. While they try to reestablish Bullet Club as like the lead heel faction. So I think this time next year for Wrestle Kingdom in 2020, I guess it would be Wrestle Kingdom 14, yes. So to me it seems that, with LIJ as the face group going into 2019, I think they're going to try and establish the Bullet Club as a heel group of 2019 and have some sort of friction going into Wrestle Kingdom 14 next year between the two factions. Either way, LIJ is getting loaded with belts this card. Spoiler for what's going to happen a little bit later on in the Intercontinental title match, but that's their creative that they're going that route. And I think what happened the next night at New Year's Dash is kind of maybe a precursor to that. I think they want to see how the faction warfare is going to handle the first half of the year between Suzuki-gun and LIJ. With that dynamic, that might even be a full year thing too, if they still want to have the Chaos Bullet Club rivalry as a thing going forward with a lot of the around the IWGP scene, I guess. But or the IWGP title scene, I should say. It's very interesting, and then, it's one of those things where you wish you had somebody, like I said, co-hosting here with this. I know I'd love to bounce some ideas off of Morehouse that I have with this, but what say you about this? Put it in the comments section below. I just want to know, like, which faction would you rather see pair up? Would you rather see LIJ Bullet Club? Would you rather see LIJ Chaos or LIJ Suzuki-gun? Because obviously they've decided on one side being the face side, and then Chaos is always going to be there on the face side. But now you got your choice between Suzuki-gun or Bullet Club. And it seems like they're leaning towards one direction here. So we'll see what happens. And what probably is the last time we'll see Cody in New Japan Pro Wrestling, as he is the first person to sign under the brand new All Elite Wrestling banner. Cody put his IWGP US title on the line against Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson ended up defeating Cody. This was a rivalry that kind of built up during the summer last year, and they kind of put it on the back burner a little bit to build for Wrestle Kingdom going forward. Kind of had that typical North American sports entertainment vibe to it coming into this one, and also watching it, I guess. It felt, this match was probably the closest to a WWE style match that we will see on this card, and unfortunately it's probably the worst match of the card. I didn't get into it at all. I don't think it's on the performers at all. I think it just was he gave us this during the summer, and then you moved both guys on to different things, and then you brought it back to us 6 months after the fact, right? So I think that's just, I think the crowd just wasn't interested at all. So again, worst match on the card, but that's still saying something, it being the worst match on the card on it being a fairly decent card. So Cody going to AEW, great stuff. Good luck with that. Juice is now the new U.S. champion. In the post-match interview, Beretta comes out and says that he wants a shot at Juice Robinson and the U.S. title. So obviously that's something being built up for these U.S. super shows that New Japan will be doing in January and early February. Kushida versus Taiji Ishimori for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship was up next on the card, and the entrance for Kushida was strange and awesome at the same time, with Taguchi dressed as Doc Brown, and then a child dressed up like Kushida walking out, and then Doc Brown throwing him on like the machine that makes Kushida big. I guess that's what this is good. I guess that's the only way to really explain it. The match itself, really flying heavy, almost like an X Division style match from the middle of last decade TNA, I would say, because it was just it had that vibe to it. Like, it was a very quick pace, just move, not a lot of rest spots, not a lot of downtime type match. This was quick, and Ishimori won the IWGP Junior Heavyweight belt in this one. I think he's going to be a great champion. I think it bolsters Bullet Club quite a bit to have that as their champion. I don't think they've had a junior heavyweight champion since Kenny. So, hey, that's, I know the Bucks have held the junior tag belts since then, obviously, but like an individual junior heavyweight champion, I can't think of anybody other than Kenny that's been in that position. So, and the fact that Ishimori is Japanese, I think the domestic product itself, Ishimori is going to be a huge star for them in about 5 years' time for sure. I think this is they're laying the groundwork for him going forward. In the only non-title match of the main card, Jay White defeated Kazuchika Okada, and this was kind of the beginning of a big 2-day run for Jay White, because the next night at New Year's Dash, Jay White came out after the main event and laid out Hiroshi Tanahashi and Kazuchika Okada for the, I guess, pretty much proclaiming himself as the undisputed leader for Bullet Club. And then on top of it, claiming that number one contendership for the IWGP heavyweight strap going forward into 2019. So it seems like Jay White's going to be Hiroshi Tanahashi's first contender for that IWGP title. The match against Okada the night before was a game changer for White. I think he's finally gone full circle to prove that he is now a definite upper mid-card heel. I think it remains to be seen if he can be a main event level heel. I think that a couple of title matches under his belt, whether he's champion or not, will help cement that a little bit. I think they're now trying to find their way with this new alignment for Bullet Club with Jado and Gedo and the Tongans, and how everybody's going to mesh with that and get that heel machine moving again. But yes, it's kind of a real throwback alignment. It feels more like the original Bullet Club with Prince Devitt, Carl Anderson, and the rest of them, a lot of them from 2013, 2014. Yeah, to me at least. What's a comment below? Chris Jericho versus Tetsuya Naito for the Intercontinental title. This thing here, a lot of people were saying this was Jericho's best match to date. I preferred the Omega Jericho match from last year's Wrestle Kingdom over this one just a little bit. I think this one was kind of a slow starter, and then there was a quick burn, and then it burned really fast towards the end, and then became out of control at the end, which is, it kind of had that Rock feel to it, like not Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, but like a rock show feel to it. Like going to a heavy metal concert or something, where they start out with kind of a slower, opener, and then they just build up to all the mega hits towards the end. That's what it felt like. So I preferred the match last year with Kenny a little bit more than this one. This one here, I thought dragged a little too much for my liking, but it still was out of control enough. And Jericho proclaiming in the post-match interview that he wants in on the IWGP Intercontinental, or not the Intercontinental title scene, but he wants in on the IWGP World Heavyweight scene now going forward. So we have not seen the last of Jericho in New Japan. I think the Ultimate Freelancer is going to have a huge 2019, and whatever he decides to do is just going to be a matter of what company does he freelance for the most. And Naito walks out with the Intercontinental title, again cementing LIJ as this big thing until the next night when Suzuki-gun lays him out. So I think we're going to have a Naito Minoru Suzuki feud for the Intercontinental title coming up as well, which, hey, that's a good thing. Then, of course, the main event, Kenny Omega, the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, defending against Hiroshi Tanahashi, with Hiroshi Tanahashi walking out as the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Let the rumor and innuendo and speculation begin. Is Kenny going to All Elite Wrestling? Is Kenny going to the WWE? Or is Kenny just going to play video games? Put in the comments below what you think. Because I think probably AEW. I think the WWE thing is just that rumor and innuendo. But hey, I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up alongside yours truly in Phoenix on Rumble weekend. So we'll see what happens. But, going forward, it was a really decent match. I enjoyed the heck out of it. I thought it was a great main event, a good way to close the show. And Tanahashi, the John Cena of Japan, gets another run with the title. So, but I don't think you should even call him the John Cena of Japan. I think, if anything, Tana's his own thing. It feels, like its own special thing going forward. And of course, the next night, the establishment of Jay White as the leader of Bullet Club and as the number one contender again, and kind of this lead of this new era of contenders that will be going forward in 2019 in New Japan. Tanahashi White again, which will be a rematch of last year's Wrestle Kingdom, will be a great encounter, about a year and a month or two removed from when they last really met on a huge stage. So New Japan looking great going into 2019. To sum up, I am going to give Wrestle Kingdom 13 a solid 9 out of 10. It is a great watch from front to back. You'll enjoy it right from the gauntlet match at the beginning to the Omega Tanahashi title encounter at the end. And I will give New Year's Dash as well, the card that happened the night after, a satisfactory 7.5 out of 10. It's a lot of multi-man tag matches, but a lot of storyline drops during that one. Just like, Beastie Boys back in the day, they let the beat drop, and then they're dropping storylines as well. So anyways, I'm Kellen Nitro, later days, happy wrestling watching. Like, subscribe, share the video. What's your thoughts on Wrestle Kingdom 13? Put them below. What's your thoughts on New Year's Dash if you watched it as well? Put them below. Alright guys, see ya.